वुमेन्स वर्ल्ड T20 is about to kick off on 3rd of October. आप लोग ग्रुप ए का प्रीव्यू देख चुके होंगे, ग्रुप बी का प्रीव्यू देख चुके होंगे एंड हमारी ओवरऑल प्रेडिक्शन इस टूर्नामेंट को लेकर देख चुके होंगे. Right now we're gonna do the one player who is going to be MVP, most vital player from each team. Only one player, one team. So you can make a fantasy XI and stuff like that. So hopefully viewers you gonna like it. I like this show for a very wonderful reason. That is a reunion. Women's Premier League review हमने इकट्ठा किया था. Skinner was of course with me as well. So I am really buzzing to welcome Jeet all the way from India and one of the finest women's cricket analysts, scout and stuff like that. So Jeet, thank you so much for joining. क्या हाल चाल?
Thank you so much for having me. Like you said, I think WPL का हम लोग ने review किया था, so काफी time बीच में चले गया. So I know you were asking me for a few of the other series and to get involved, but scheduling sadly didn't allow me to join you. But it's great to be back and collaborate for what's going to be one of the best tournaments going around. So I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. I am really glad that you put out that it is going to be one of the best tournaments. I really feel it. So, okay, Jeet, we will go team by team. Let's start with the finalist of the last edition. Should I say runner-up? Proteas Women's. Who is going to be their most vital player in this current edition?
A safer option, Marizanne Kapp. She has been phenomenal in all the formats that she has played, including all the franchise leagues that she has been involved with, whether it is the WDBL, whether it's a WPL or the Women's 100. She has been fantastic everywhere. So she's going to hold the key. Of course, I mean, if you look at the stats since 2023, where the batters to have scored more than 1,000 runs plus have taken more than 50 wickets, only 4 names appear, and one of them is Marizanne Kapp. So she's going to be my pick for South Africa.
Move towards the defending champions, Australia. There are a few obvious picks. Let's see who are you going with.
I know safer option might have been somebody like Beth Mooney, since she performs consistently and she anchors the innings for the most part of the 20 overs. So she generally ends up scoring a bulk of runs in the entire tournament. But I still feel that she'll be up against some of quality off spinners across different teams. So I'm not saying that she's completely weak against off spin, but I still feel that she's going to be tested in the conditions that they are going to face in the UAE. And that's the reason why I've gone for somebody like Ellyse Perry, who is a lot more fitter and hasn't had so many injury concerns either. So at number 3, she has been fairly consistent, and that's why she has batted in some of the franchise leagues as well recently. So she has got the game to tackle pace. She's got the game to tackle spin as well. So she's been phenomenal, and she has the ability to churn out runs on a consistent basis. So she's going to be a safer pick. And of course, not to forget that she can also chip in with the ball if required. And I think that is where also she might get a couple of overs every game, and she can be really vital in making those important breakthroughs.
Let's discuss Scotland now. A wonderful story after the wonderful qualifiers they had. Apta Maksud, I'm really looking forward to see her perform, and we all know their stalwarts, the Bryce sisters. But if they are to make any shock in terms of results or even in terms of performances, who is going to be their most vital player and in what role?
I think you took some very good names, and they've got genuine match winners, and most of them are quite young as far as the age is concerned. Whether you talk about Kathryn Fraser, whether you talk about Olivia Bell, whether she plays or not is a different question. But they've got so many such players who are genuinely talented, even though there might be slight inexperience on their part. But not to forget that all these players get to rub shoulders with some of the English stars, because most of them play in the regional cricket, so they are well versed in terms of tackling different situations and taking the pressure and all that stuff. So I think the safer pick again over here is going to be the skipper, Kathryn. Again, WPL experience of playing in the 100, and also the experience of playing regional cricket for the Blaze for I think last 2 years. And before that, she was involved with the Loughborough Lightning, which was the team that was renamed to the Blaze later on. And she has been phenomenal in most of these competitions in terms of batting at number 3 and churning out runs consistently, adjusting to the situation at which she walks in, and also chipping in with crucial wickets. Now, Kathryn, of course, she has got that new ball value with those swooping in swing, but She has also worked upon some of the leg cutters and other variations at the death, which makes her effective in that phase as well. So, she's always put her hand up for Scotland or even for the other teams. And, she has been phenomenal in winning games, for her team. Now, even since 2023, if you look, most player of the match awards, Kathryn Bryce features in the top four. That is how much, she has contributed to Scotland. And that is how, she has been valuable for them. And she has been a proper match winner for them. So, I would have my money on Kathryn Bryce to get the job done.
I now want to move towards Bangladesh. I am going with a random order, but that is how I have picked. Bangladesh kind of in a disarray, somewhat kind of timid approach with that is their major concern. But anyway, they have got few good spinners as well, few good batters as well. So I'm really, really excited to hear from you who is going to be their most vital player. They have got a tough group, but anyway, let's see where do they finish. So yeah, I have your thoughts about Bangladesh most vital player potentially.
There are quite a few contenders when it comes to Bangladesh. And, my mind straight away casts to, some of the young guns at that particular side, whether it is Maruf Akhtar, whether it is Rabia Khan, or whether it is Sharma Akhtar. All three have been tremendous in the limited amount of international cricket they've played, and they are genuine talents, and I would say they are the X factor. But one of the players, who has been consistently churning runs because her team has needed to, has been the skipper Nigar Sultana Jyoti. Now, Bangladesh, of course, have had their, batting struggles for a long time in terms of, providing those quick starts or, laying down a solid platform, solid foundation upon which others can build upon. So every time, it has resulted in Nigar having to walk in early, consolidate and bat till the end and then accelerate in the last few overs. So, chunk of runs has been scored by Nigar. Even since 2023, her contribution percentage has been 25, which is quite high for one player. So, again, a lot is going to ride around her. Even if you look at number of 50s that Bangladesh have scored in the last 2 years, the number is 8. Out of those 8 50s, 5 have been scored by the skipper. So that goes on to tell you how much she has been contributing for her side. And I feel even heading into this tournament, a lot is going to ride upon her. If they are to score a decent number of runs over, say, 130 and touch that 140 mark or even go beyond that, I think Nigar is going to be that fulcrum that, holds together the team around which, of course, others can accelerate or attack. So I would go for the skipper as the MVP for Bangladesh.
Oh, okay, wow. I was expecting the name like of Rabia Khan. Anyway, that is my player to watch out for, kind of. I really, really love her drifters. Okay, moving forward, let's stick in Asian continent and let's discuss the Asian champion Sri Lanka, who of course beat India through miraculous performance from Chamari, through Hashita, through Kavisha. Of course, their all team contributed towards it. So, who is going to be their most vital player? Are you going with the most obvious pick? Are you going to surprise our audience? So, Jeet, have your thoughts.
It is going to be the most obvious pick for me. Now, of course,
Okay.
having said that, the good thing for Sri Lanka is that they are not heavily reliant on Chamari anymore because over the last few series, things have turned around quite significantly for Sri Lanka, wherein so many other players have put their hand up and put in a player of the match performance and kind of contributed when Chamari has struggled to get going. But come at the big tournament, you'd probably bag the big gun, and that is Chamari. Now, having said that, of course, this is, it was the UAE where, Sri Lanka played the T20 World Cup qualifier. So they are used to playing in those kind of conditions, even though the venues weren't the same. But they're used to it, and that is what really matters at the end of that. And it was a very recent tournament as well. So I think that is what they are going to, kind of bank upon. And Chamari, you can't take a lot away from her because at the end of the day, she has been that one player who has the ability to take the game away from you single-handedly and win the game single-handedly. Probably one of the few in women's cricket. So a lot, of course, rides upon her in terms of providing those starts or even finding those boundaries in the power play, converting those 50s into, say, 70s or 80s, and she's very, very capable of that. Not to forget that, even she has got a lot of experience recently of playing in different leagues around the globe. So she's got that vital experience as well of playing in different conditions and of rubbing shoulders with other international players. So I think she's going to hold key. I just would hope that she would also chip in with her off spin because I think she's very underrated and she underbowls herself. Despite, of course, having other options in her side, I would still want her to roll her arm over in every game, bowl a couple of overs, and I think even that is going to come really, really handy. So I'd still go for a safer pick in Chamari Athapththu.
Wow, stunning to hear. But now, audience primarily from Pakistan, because our channel is from Pakistan, fans would be banging my door that please ask Jeet about Pakistan. So I am excited. My audience would be excited. So, Jeet, have your thoughts about Pakistan? Who is going to be their MVP in this World Cup?
I won't be surprised if a lot of Pakistan fans would be kind of wanting or would be backing Fatima Sana to actually be the MVP of Pakistan. But I still feel that that transition has taken place a little bit quite, I would say, a little bit later, because it's pretty much on the eve of the big tournament of the T20 World Cup, where a 22-year-old has been asked to lead her nation, and that's a big ask, because we generally don't get to see that, and only two players in the past have led a nation or have led their nation in the T20 World Cup at an age younger than Fatima Sana's. So it's going to be a big challenge for her, I believe. Of course, there is nothing in terms of class. You can't take anything away from her, and even if the recent series against South Africa was something to go by, she was fantastic. So, with all due respect, I would still go for somebody like Nida Dar, because experience. Also, I would say that the burden has kind of lifted, because she's not the skipper anymore. So she would be able to bat a lot more freely. She wouldn't have that burden that she'll be carrying on the back or on the shoulders. So she's going to hold the key. I don't know where she's going to bat. A lot of question marks about the batting order, the number 3, the middle order, and all that stuff. But irrespectively of where she bats, she's going to hold the key, and she's that proper, genuine six hitter that Pakistan has got. And of course, I mean, Aisha Naseem is a case that's been closed. So of course, Nida Dar becomes the key along with Fatima Sana. But Nida, of course, the off spin also is going to be vital, and she's again very experienced and knows how to get those big wickets. So I would again back that experience of Nida.
Yeah, that would hit very, very differently. We really want her to perform. Okay, Jeet, let's discuss the champions of 2016 edition, West Indies. Hayley Matthews said in like prior to the tournament that is they're one of the strongest squad, or like if not the most strongest. So, are you going with again the most obvious pick, Hayley Matthews, right?
Indeed, I am going for Hayley Matthews. I just talked about Nigar Sultana's contribution percentage for Bangladesh, which was 25. But there was only one player who's contributed more for her nation, and that is Hayley Matthews. And the number is a lot more than 25, which is 37. 37% of runs contributed by only Hayley Matthews in the last 2 years in the T20I format. That's a huge number to have. So whilst I definitely know that Deandra Doughton is back from retirement, they have the services of Stephanie Taylor as well, and some other young impressive players in Alia Alain, Karishma Ramarak, Kiana Joseph. But I would still say Hayley Matthews, because you can't take away anything from her. Because even when you look at the Player of the Match awards over the last probably, I would say, 2 years, Hayley Matthews is right at the top with 11 Player of the Match awards. So a lot rides upon her. And this is not only something that we've seen in the T20I format, but also the ODI format, where it's up to her to kind of deliver, bail her team out with the bat, with the ball, wherever she's required, and win the games for her nation. And she ends up bagging the Player of the Match. So such a high number of Player of the Match awards as compared to other players having chipped in. So that is where there has been a huge difference. And even lately, I mean, some of her performances have been fantastic. So whenever West Indies have went on to win a game or even series, Hayley Matthews has been at the top of a game doing what she has done. And we have seen that trend even, say, elsewhere in some of the franchise leagues, where in the inaugural edition of the WPL, she was one of the best players coming out of that particular tournament. She was good in the 100 as well this season.
Yeah.
So she's been fantastic everywhere. So it's still a safer pick for me, Hayley Matthews. And I'm pretty much sure that others also would be, backing her to get the job. For Nat Sciver-Brunt, obviously, I mean, she's definitely one of the best batters, or I would say one of the best all-format batters currently in the world cricket, including the test matches. And also the fact that she'll have a lot more burden with the ball as well. So you might probably see her chipping in with 3 overs or even the entire quota of 4 overs throughout the tournament. Of course, I'm not a big fan of her bowling, but she has improved lately. But the thing is, of course, I mean, they are without some of the key pacers this time around. There is no Lauren Filer who's been selected. And so the lead pacer is only Lauren Bell. So they'll have to rely upon the all-round options of Danny Gibson, Freya Kim, and Nat Sciver-Brunt, out of which Nat Sciver-Brunt is the only experienced, player to have. So I think she's going to roll her arm over regularly. She might even take the new ball. But besides that, it's really more about her batting and how much of a class she has been over the years in terms of finishing off the chases, setting some, massive totals, resurrecting innings, when she comes in at tricky situations, and she oozes class. You just cannot take away anything from that genius that she is. So I would probably still go for Nat Brunt to hold the key for India.
All right, last two teams left, and I will finish up with India. But let's discuss New Zealand first. Uh, Team in kind of downward trajectory. I think they are on 10-match losing streak or stuff like that. Uh, and I was checking their stats as well. They have hit 150 only once for last 12 or 14 months. So, uh, who is going to be their most vital player? Is it Amelia Kerr? Have I got her right?
And you have been guessing it correctly. So it is indeed Malika. Sophie Devine, of course, being one of the contenders, and that's pretty much it. Susie Bates, I mean, some of them might pick Susie Bates as well because of how experienced she is, but I think Millie Kerr, of course, given how much she contributes with the bat, with the ball, and even in the field, she's been outstanding. And of course, many people tend to forget that, she's just 23 years old even now. And you'd think that, she's been on the circuit for a long time. And that is true because she made her debut as a teenager. So it's been a long time that, she has been involved in international cricket for. So, but even at the age of 23, she has got so many achievements and so many accolades to her name. So she has been fantastic with that. And all the recent, things that I observed in the ODIs, or sorry, I beg pardon, the T20s against Australia, it's that she is back bowling her googlies. Now that is something that she had reduced significantly in the build-up to that particular T20 series. But come at this T20 series, she is fantastic in terms of bowling those googlies and nailing them accurately and get wickets of them. So because she's back bowling that and she's regained her confidence of bowling those deliveries, she becomes a lot more lethal because of course googlies are a lethal weapon at the end of the day for a wrist spinner. So she's back as far as that bowling form is concerned. But as a batter, of course, she has been fantastic in playing that anchor role at number 3. And of course, one of the key things that stands out with Millie Kerr is the fact that she is technically so proficient. And because of that, she's got the ability to churn out runs on a consistent basis across the two formats that New Zealand play. So again, a safer option perhaps because she's going to be chipping in both the aspects plus the field. So
one of the very favorites for this tournament. There are few articles that they must win this tournament because it has been too long to win the silverware, should I say. So Samriti Mandana, of course, great form. Harmanpreet in kind of patchy form. Deepti Sharma, fantastic WPL, even spectacular, the 100 women's. Pooja with a ball has been sensational. So there are quite a lot of contenders, but who are you going with?
So with India, like you mentioned, there are quite a few contenders. There are quite a few match winners that they've got on the side. And one of the interesting stats that I've come across that since 2023, India have had 13 different players who have batted the player of the match, which is the most amongst all the teams that play T20s. So that goes on to show that India are not really dependent upon one or two players to get the job done every time. Like it's been the case with the say West Indies or Sri Lanka. India have got, we've had 13 match winners in the last 2 seasons. So that kind of shows the talent pool that India have got and the kind of match winners or number of match winners that India have got. So it's always going to be a tricky pick because, people would want to go for Smriti Mandana. There is Chelima Rodriguez. There is Richa Ghosh as well. There is, if somebody wants to go for Shringa Patil, she's a talent as well. So quite a few options there. But I would still say for me, it's going to be marginally somebody who's right for me is Deepti Sharma because she's that lead spinner on the side. So she holds the key as far as that particular department is concerned. And she's a very smart operator as well with the ball. So you probably want to back her to get the job done all of the games as bowler. But when it comes to batting as well, she has added a lot more gears to her batting over the last probably 8 to 9 months since the WPL. We've seen the kind of knocks that she has been playing that translated into the women's 100 as well, where she came in for the London Spirit as Grace Harris's replacement. And we all know what she did right till the finals, right till that winning shot that she hit. So she has been, fantastic as a batter as well. Of course, over here, I don't know what's really going to happen, but if she bats at number 3, then her value is going to probably triple. It's going to get a lot more higher if she bats at number 3. Unless if she comes down the order, then I don't know. But if she bats at number 3 and chips in with 4 overs, then I don't think you can quite look past Deepti Sharma.
Viewers, you will see the final list in the edited version. Viewers, you will see the final list in
one
the
of the best
edited version.
of the best around. So I
Viewers, you will
really
see the
am a
final
fan
list
of it.
in the
You must
edited
become
version.
fan of it. So
Viewers,
thank you so
will
much.
see
Viewers,
the
thank you so
final
much for
list
tuning in.
in the
Best
edited
of luck.
version.
All things but
Viewers,
best
you
of
will
luck
see the
to come
final
from
list
you. Goodbye,
in the
viewers.
Tell me that you